Welcome back, everybody. Restartt here, and I know a lot of you guys have been clamoring for some actual games, so I'm going to bring you guys a game that I just played and recorded, and we're going to see how it turns out right here with a little bit of commentary. So I'll click on the games any moment now. I've been doing pretty well for myself. I just got 25th in Aethermaster, so yay me, right before this game. We'll see how it turns out afterwards. But Gate to Los Angeles, and this is an interesting map. It's got these narrow back ends that are offset, but it doesn't allow the ranged poke some of the other offset maps do because of these little pillars up on the side over here. And then you've got the center, which is pretty divided, and you're going to see a lot of bug because he's so useful over the center. He can hit both of these spots from one. He's defensive, and there's not a lot of charging through. There's only one square you can really pass through besides hitting and moving on. So you're going to see a lot of Aurora and a lot of bug. So I'm going to go ahead and search. I think this map's pretty alright. I have an idea of what I want to do to it, or on it. And then I'm going to, of course, use my Sky Bucket. I haven't quite figured out enough strategies for the Packers yet. I'm working on it. But as you'll see right here, now here's what I'm considering. This map doesn't do the greatest with two big tanky defenders. If that's your style, you can definitely make it work, and that middle will help you hole up all day long. But you're going to see awesome things out of people like Harlequin and Martel with their big ultis because they can retreat back to relative safely and then use their big ultimate as well. However, I decided to go with Crank for this map. I don't have a lot of push, and I really like him in the narrow back ends here to be able to push people into the 2-point fire damage or off the side of the map to be able to push them back and just give a lot of control over the rear. And then when he wants to move forward, if he gets a nice teleport or bait and switch, he can knock people off the edge. Martel is useful for that ulti, but he's so limited in his movement, he doesn't really get the range I want here. And at least with Crank, well, he has the same range, he's got that push to give himself a little extra advantage on this one. So I definitely want Bug, and I also want the semi-high health, semi-good damage dealers of Corporal and Aurora. So I'm going to go ahead and swap in Harlequin. Harlequin can stay pretty safe in the back of this, and then swoop it and do damage, and if he's not used for a while, he can definitely come in and just ulti somebody. And you saw there I circled Baron. Baron's fantastic on this map as well because people tend to move up and move back, move up and move back. You can push them just out of range to move far enough to get to one of the charge squares. You can push them back off a charge square so they have to move forward again. And he's excellent defending because the sides of the map, it's such a narrow movement range near the backfield, you can usually catch somebody near an edge. But I think I'm pretty good with my team. I'm going to move on to the shells. I like these shells a lot, though, on this map. Bait and Switch takes care of anybody in the back row, so does Exodus. And as I mentioned before, with all the pushes, Shockwave is just going to compound that with any character I choose. And Bait and Switch, because you're killing off characters relatively quickly in the middle, you can often catch a Martel in the back line, or if you rush somebody in the back line, they'll put out a defender, and then you Bait and Switch that defender and just start pounding away at the damage. So we'll see. Now I queued up at about, let's say, a minute into this video, and then I'm going to skip ahead 30 seconds because my wait time right now is about 50 seconds. So right now I'm going to 150, and there's GetSchmittOn answering the call.
Live, another exciting battle for Ether, and here are the fearless combatants.
So he gets first turn, which is fantastic on this. You can do a lot of things. You can start with Bug up the center, but it's not advised, and he did a great move. I just want to pause it and mention there. Usually, if you get first turn, put that melee up front so that they can step on the square, defend versus anybody, especially somebody with range here, like Aurora, or somebody who could push people back, somebody that Crank could step on and push somebody away. And then you've got Bug can deal his 2 damage next. Otherwise, you're going to have to put Bug farther back. So I see he's over there, and I can't contest this 1-for-1 because he's got first turn. So I'm going to go ahead and put not Aurora on this side. I decided I don't want a mirror match. What I'm going to do is start with Crank. And if he starts somewhat defensively, he saw me in the chat before, he said hi, so saying hi back. I'm always in the chat. So if he starts pretty defensively, I can get Crank up here and start getting some pushes off the edge. And if he starts offensively, I can just charge and move back, charge and move back. And it looks like he is starting off pretty offensively. You see the bug up the center. I don't want to give him that 4 damage on turn 2 unless he moves forward and risks dying. So I'm going to spawn in the mirrored spot on the other side, just out of Bug's range. He can reach the middle squares and these 3 squares and the one in front, and I'm just going to make him pay. If Aurora steps up, I get the double hit. If Bug moves over, which now he can't, I would get the hit. So now Bug cannot get the damage. But here's another crucial point. A lot of people would be tempted to put their Bug back here in the center. And then what you do from there is, okay, if somebody moves up, you double zap them, hit them with your characters, and you assassinate them. What I like doing is playing off to the side. This Aurora positioning, as I mentioned, was fantastic, and what good players can do with this is they can just march up the side and touch your ship, and as you see, Crank's never going to get there. So no matter who I put over here, the maximum they're going to do is 5 damage to this person, and then Aurora's going to get 4 to the ship. You don't want to give that up early, so I like putting a 3 movement champion off on this side, completely block Aurora, but I can still come in and deal damage over to this side and move around the back or do what I need to do, or just get the ship charge early on, which is pretty useful. If you had Baron, he's also pretty useful up the side because he can knock people against the center or he can knock people into the rest of your team. But I decided to go with not Bug. He's a little too low health, and a couple lucky hits might be able to come up and get him too low before he does his thing. So I'm going to put the Corporal up the side. He can start threatening damage early on if anybody moves up. And he always has the potential to do 3, and he's going to start building up that knockback that's going to make people not want to be in certain squares in the middle. With a double knockback team like this, he moves up. Now the move here is to move back and charge, or to not avoid that square, move forward and start beating over here, but he's going to lose that damage trade if I get any crits at all when I move forward and stab with Aurora. So the smart move here is really to move back and just control your zone. Either that or this right here is a great play, because now he defends all 3 of these from me moving up. But unfortunately he misses his turn. You hate to see that, but you know, that's why the timer's there. I see his offensive play though, and I want nothing to do with there. All 3 of his characters could hit me. So I'm just going to charge and move back. Now Bug has no options. He can't charge. He's got to move and shoot, which only gets him 1, which means he can't use his 5 Aether next turn. I see my chance here. I'm going to do a double attack. I know that if she lives into next turn, together with her and Bug, they can take out Aurora, but that's still 2 champions' turns to try and take out one of mine when I can definitely do a lot of damage. This is a mistake, though. He comes up and tries to be aggressive versus Crank on my side, and that means that Crank's going to get this kill. He thought he was safe, but you can see me picture this before I even take my turn with Corporal. I'm thinking to myself, oh, I can move forward and knock him off, and I get the free kill first. Harlequin, if you can't get the kill, if you're going to die, just move forward, move back, and save up for that ultimate. It can change things. So there we go with that. You can see I'm thinking about it, and my mouse was actually over there. But then I decided to move forward, and I'm going to threaten Bug and try for the kill here. I figured I could get Bug low, but they're going to kill my Aurora once Bug starts to go, and I can't do anything about it. So I might be able to save Aurora, and there's no advantage to getting Bug here. He's not going to use his ultimate. I don't have to rush him. I'm pretty safe, and it turned out to be a great play. Even if that didn't happen, maybe I sacrifice Corporal, but I get the kill back with Aurora, so not a bad trade. Here, I'm just going to sacrifice Crank to get rid of the high damage Harlequin. I'm winning these trades. I'm already ahead. I'm just going to keep trading piece for piece and, you know, win these trades here. So I know Crank's going to die to Aurora, but I can set it up so I can return more damage if Aurora does 2 attacks. So Bug here now has a bunch of options. He decides to go to 4, so next turn he'll have his ultimate. Shocking again won't build him any more ether, but he goes back into a rough spot here. Now, if I was him, I might move back 1 over, but I think he wants the double shock on Corporal, but Corporal's gonna move. So this is a rough shot because it's a straight line with who's soon to be a fully charged Aurora. I don't think he thought I'd risk it, but man, I am risky. And then I can just bring Corporal in to finish this off, and that's exactly how it's going to play out for me here. I'm not risking anything by moving Aurora up, because I'm already going to lose Crank, so now his Aurora just picks somebody to kill. I don't lose anybody else. I'm just giving him options, but I'm not really, you know, increasing any amount of my stuff that's going to die, so good on me. Now, he could try and save Bug right here by placing somebody in front of Bug, but as you can see, he'd just take a lot of damage from Corporal. Bug would be able to get his ultimate off, so it might have been the smart play, but tanky people have a hard time getting up there. You really only have Corporal himself. So instead, I'm thinking about knocking back Aurora to make her kill Crank, but I say no, you know what, I gotta kill Bug. His ulti's coming up, he could kill Corporal, he could do a lot of damage, and I can get one on the ship as well, in addition to the kill for 3. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go kill Bug. And I know that 2 of my characters are going to die this turn until I realize what my Aether is doing. And I say, fantastic. This is going to turn out well for me. And he goes ahead and gets the kill in turn order. That's what you want to do. You want to kill him in turn order. Don't give Crank those extra attacks. Kill Crank first. Now, unfortunately, my Aurora goes next anyway, so not really a big deal either way. But still a solid play, getting the maximum amount of damage out. You know, he might be able to get 3 later with Harlequin, and now, but he couldn't have killed Crank with 3. I put Harlequin up here, and that may or may not be a mistake. I put a risky move. What I wanted to do is guarantee I know I can get 3 damage this turn, minimum. So now, if Harlequin can move forward and move up either side, no matter where he put his characters, I could go get the kill on the ship. But he has some easy outs. He can move to block, he can move to kill. He's got enough power for any shell he wants right now. So I could have played it safe and done a Martel, and a Martel would eventually just build up enough charges to win. Aurora was not going to be able to do any damage there, so I Shockwave to keep Corporal safe, to make sure he can do his turn. There's nothing he can do now besides a shell to kill Corporal, so I'm going to get that 3 damage and bring him down to within almost death range, and hopefully I can swap in for the win here. So he's thinking about what to do with Corporal here. Now, with Harlequin. Does Harlequin run up and hit mine? No, he's definitely got to kill over here. But what he thinks is I'm going to double try for the kill on Harlequin. No, I want 3 damage to the ship, not 2. I know he's going to try and come kill me with 2 characters next turn, and I just don't have the damage to deal with that. So I'm going to try and get in my damage right now, and then finish it later on. Now that is a stroke of luck for me. If you notice, I have Exodus sitting there waiting for me. I just have to charge up Exodus and I win. I click on a character and I win. Alternatively, I already have the points for bait and switch, so next turn I can just swap in. Any of my characters can deal 3 damage, and this seems pretty sewn up and in the bag for me. He can still use some shells to kill Harlequin, but you know, that may or may not happen. But what I don't expect is what's going to happen next. He's thinking about it and wait. How can he get rid of all these champions spread out across the map? What shell could do this? Light him up, kills the 2 far champions, and leaves 2 health on the person next to Aurora. And this is where it might have been a mistake. I could have put a tanky character up there, but I wanted the 3 damage. I wasn't sure I was going to get the crit. Always tell your opponents when they do a good move, you know, never be cranky. I'll just be a nice person in the game, build a good community. But anyways, so there we go. I'm debating who to put out, and basically I know at this point that all I have to do... Hang on 1 second here. But basically all I have to do is stop Aurora from doing her thing. And once I can stop Aurora from doing her thing, I basically got the win, penning some crazy shells. But he's got 4 Aether there, so he's not going to be doing a lot. So I just need to block her from moving to this spot or up to attack the ship.
Steel Fist Crank.
So he's going to start moving forward, and Martel's got nothing. He doesn't have his ult. He's got to slowly make his way across the map. He's basically going to be a non-factor for the rest of this game unless he starts really killing off my characters. Now here I'm debating. Aurora, you always have to play in the second row out because she can move forward and use her 2 Aether ability to just hit right over the top of you and hit the ship as well. Even if she doesn't have her 5, she can just move right up and hit you and the ship because it always attacks the next 2 squares. But she doesn't have the Aether for it. I realize that, and I back up so she can't double hit me in Scorching. And basically I'm pretty safe from most common low spells at this point. Barring something really tricky like moving over and doing some crazy shockwave shenanigans. Super. Now that was a bit of a mistake on GetSchmitt. If he had moved forward one more instead of getting the extra ether, I don't know what he wants that ether for, so maybe it wasn't a mistake. But if he had moved forward, he would force me to place in front of him. Otherwise, he could jump to the ship and strike it for 6 damage, and I just would have had to put a character there to stop that. But as it is now, he can walk up and strike for 2, or for 3, leaving me at 2. I'm fine with that, because I'm going to win before that if he doesn't kill all my characters. In which case, I'm dead anyways. So now he's got to kill every one of my characters on their turn. Instead, he's going for the bug kill. He knows next turn he can kill bug, but it's not enough because I've got Exodus. I'm not going to wait around and try anything fancy. I'm just going to go ahead and say Exodus, win. And I asked him if I upload it because I don't want to do things that he can't, but champion down and another win for Restartt. Great game, GetSchmitt. I thought that was going to be easier at the beginning, but he really pulled that back with some smart shell usage and some excellent defense there. So there we go. There's another victory. A bunch of points headed my way, and I'm going to be heading up 1 or 2 places in Aethermaster. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know any comments, suggestions, anything you guys want to see. And then also, you know, feel free to like these and subscribe, guys. You know, I'd love to hear more from you guys about what you want. Give me comments, give me feedback, and we'll try and bring you more great Arena content.